Welcome back to the 9 Point Day podcast. We're your host, Jacob Langworthy and Austin Rhodes. And today we're going to talk about home gyms, garage gyms, basement gyms, just any gym you have at your house.
You know, you know, I am jealous
So,
of the basement gym just off the top. Like having a basement ceiling high enough to put a gym in there be so nice.
see, that's the thing. Most basement gyms are not high enough. Uh, I
Well,
know
there's
guys
a
like Luke Crowley. I've seen him like overhead pressing on his knees because he just doesn't have the clearance for it.
sure. There's a group in Omaha that they have a pretty well stocked strongman gym in their basement.
Hmm.
They'll invite people over on the weekends, but yeah, they have a full rack in there and 10-foot ceiling, maybe. Plenty of room to overhead press. And then
Yeah.
like a good space to do yoke runs and everything. Very nice.
What's very interesting, I was at Tom Van Vleck's place throwing at his games that he has at his house. And I was
Yep,
still
yep.
lightweight at the time. And so he had a scale in his basement. So we walked around because it's a walkout basement. And I go in there, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like how tall are these ceilings? He's like, they're 12 foot. Because when he was building the house, like they asked him like, well, how do you want the ceilings? And like I think the base was 10, and then they could easily add another like 2 feet on top of that. So he's like, yeah, let's add let's add 2 more feet on top of that. So he has this giant, massive like dungeon of a basement with
Yep.
his whole home gym in there.
Which is a pretty sizable home gym as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff in there, a lot of like antique like weights and like dumbbells and stuff. It's very interesting. But well, let's get into like some of the, I don't know, and like the pros and cons of having a home gym. Because
Yeah, so
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say not everyone can or should have a home gym.
Well, who
Like
who
some
shouldn't?
people, well, and there's just people that need to be in a separate space to be able to work out. And maybe they need other people there. I don't know. I'm not one of those people. Um, but there's just some people who, if it's just in their home, they won't use it, and they need to have the gym membership. Like
Right. I think
just because you have it, yeah,
I would put that in the cons because like even myself, every now and again I get the urge like it'd be nice to lift with other people, uh, but you can't really do that at your home gym. I mean, I guess you can invite people over, but that's a whole thing. But like going to a
right,
commercial space is can be kind of nice, but not all the time. So that's why it's
right,
like a little mixed bag there.
right, yeah, for sure.
But I
Uh,
think a pro definitely is just the fact that like you don't have to go anywhere. It's at your house. It's always there. Like that is like very, very convenient.
oh, for sure. Like I had a pretty big gym open, like 6 blocks from my house.
Hmm.
Like that's still not in the garage.
Right.
I
It's
still have
that's
to
still
get in
further.
the car.
Yeah. But
There's yeah, the
I bet they have
not
air
having that
conditioning.
excuse. You know, the heat doesn't bother me. You
That's
can get a
true. I
fan
said I
going,
said air
like
conditioning. I meant heat. Yeah. Or
yeah,
like a
yeah.
heater.
And I mean, I'm sure it's different if we lived in, I don't know, southern Texas, where it gets a little bit hotter than it does here. But like
Maybe.
being sweaty, being sweaty, yeah, it's not great, but trying to hold on to a 15-degree barbell, that sucks.
Yeah, and see, like that's also. I mean, so we're at like two cons, one pro at this point, but the weather is and the seasons are definitely a con that like you have to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a Sherpa lined sweater that I can wear in the winter, and I
Hmm.
am like, even if it's 0 degrees out, if there are none degrees in the outside, my my garage stays, and it doesn't really get below like 20. And so I'll be cozy in there and fine. And if I'm doing like back squats or something, I'll throw gloves on because I don't really need to be like connected to the bar through my hands. But pretty much everything else, I'm gonna not want gloves.
Yeah.
So then straps help a lot, depending on what you're doing. Chalk helps a little. And
Oh, yeah.
that is another
Anything.
pro,
Oh, you can
is
use chalk. Yeah.
use it use as much chalk as you want. The only one
So
who's going to yell at you is future self.
that's what I was just about to say as a pro is that like you're your own like you own your own personal gym, your own studio. Like you can do whatever you want in there. You listen to whatever music you want. You can have whatever you want playing on the TVs without anyone else having any say in it. It's very, very nice that you have ultimate control of what goes on in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the big thing, and I mean, I think one of the pros that gets thrown around that I don't, it's not nearly as big of a pro as it get made out to be, is that you save money. Um, I mean, if you get, I don't know what the average gym membership is, but $35 a month.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's about $35 a month for like just a normal commercial gym that might not even have like racks and platforms and stuff like that. I mean,
I'm pretty
most of
sure
them
they
are
all
kind of
have,
now, but
well,
like
yeah,
10 years ago or less, platforms at a Genesis was not a thing.
right.
Or is
So, I
Genesis a
mean,
national thing? I
I
don't know.
believe
Either way,
so.
like 24-hour fitness, you weren't seeing a lot of platforms in there, at least not all of them.
Right.
But a pro would be like equipment selection. You get to choose whatever you want to have. So like if you want a weird
I would,
niche machine, you can get that.
yeah, but kind of the point I was getting to is a decent barbell is going to be $300.
Yeah,
So just the barbell alone is almost an entire year of a gym membership.
yeah.
You
So
should never have to replace it. So, I mean,
no,
10 years, you probably will save money, but not much before that.
yeah, it's a 10-year thing that before you'll break even. You can't say it's free yet. You got to get through that 10th year.
Right.
but that's kind of like the curse of like owning a home gym is that you get all the initial equipment and you're like I'm set and in 10 years this is all like it's paying for itself now. No more gym memberships, nothing like that. But you keep buying equipment every other month from then on out. Whatever you can fit in that space, you will fill it with something that's
Oh, yeah.
like so you're never going to come ahead. And like most gym like home gym owners, like I'm on like Facebook Marketplace and like Craigslist, like just looking, something might pop
Yeah.
out. I might,
Right. Yeah. You never know.
yeah. Friends have equipment that they're getting rid of. Helps me out a
There's
ton.
a there's an auction right now that I have a bid in for that's just a pallet of plates and dumbbells. A lot of the
Oh,
dumbbells are
nice.
broken, and I'm gonna turn them into blobs. But
Heck yeah.
so we'll see.
Let's get the grip going, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. No one look into that auction. Just don't worry about it. Forget I said anything.
Yeah. But It's
So
home gym owning is not the most economical for
yeah,
sure.
so I I started I got on Marketplace a barbell, a squat stand, a cheap bench, and like 250, 300 pounds of plate weight, or pretty cheap. $300
Yeah,
maybe
that's not
less than
bad.
that. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a great barbell. I still
I
have
was going
it.
to ask what kind of barbell was it?
I don't think it was branded.
Okay.
Like the caps might have fallen off, or I don't think there's anything on it that I remember. And then shortly after that, I put in an order for no, the next. So then I thought I'm gonna make myself a platform, but I still want to be able to use the garage to put the car away if I need to. So I got a pulley system, and I put wheels on one edge of the platform and hooked the pulley up to the other one, so I could just wheel it up and get it up against the wall out of the way when I'm not using the platform if you need to put the car away if a hailstorm or something's coming.
Right.
So I made the platform a 6x8 platform that's 2 layers of plywood or composite board, I think, and then the top layer, the middle bit was plywood, and then the outer edge was the horse stall mats.
Hmm.
So I get that, I get the pulley up, get it into place, and what I didn't realize is that if you build a platform that way, it weighs more than I do. So
Yeah.
I could not pulley it up, even with the reduction with the pulley. Couldn't do it. So then I went and I got a game, like a elk hoist,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can for that. And the reduction was so bad on that, like it was still heavy enough that I couldn't just hand over hand that skinny rope. So then I had to like walk it out, and would have had to walk out of the garage and like 3/4 of the way back to the house to get it up against the wall. I ended up having to mount a uh, engine hoist from the ceiling that's got the chains.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta get an engine hoist.
Yeah, that's where I ended up. So I can't get it up out of the way. I think I've done it 3 times since I
See,
built it in 2019.
yeah, that's like the the thing you have to do as like a home gym owner is like find like the little shortcuts. Like if you're not running like an 8x8 platform because like of space, you got to make it shorter, and you need it out of the way sometimes for whatever reason, whether it's part garage, part workshop, or whatever. You got to find some way to hoist that thing up. You get really clever.
Yeah, so yeah,
And
that was the fun first project, and then
so
this
your
episode's
platform, you didn't use plywood on the bottom. You use like MDF or something. Or,
yeah, still a 3/4 inch, but it's not a true like layered plywood. I don't remember what it's called, but the cheaper stuff,
okay, yeah, like wafer board or something. OSB,
something.
oriented strand board. See, I found, and like I should have done that initially when I built my platform. Is used cheaper plywood or like there's like a smaller size because you can save $10 a sheet on plywood when you're buying. I don't know how many do I have now, 20 sheets or something.
That's a
But
lot of
like
sheets. Yeah.
you could save a good chunk of money if you just make the because I go two going this way, two going like this way, and
Right.
then that top sheet and the rubber, right? Those
Right.
like those two bottom layers, they don't have to be 3/4. Just the top one has to be 3/4 because that's how thick the stall mats are. So anyone out there who's trying to build a platform, get the thinner stuff. Not 1/4 inch. That's crazy. I mean, but like it doesn't have to be 3/4 for the
Right.
bottom sheets because it doesn't matter. But now
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Because
platform sits like 2 inches off the ground. It's cool,
right.
but whatever.
Right. Yeah. And then this episode's coming out just in time to miss out on Rogue's Matte Black November.
Yep,
Which
just
if
in
you're
time.
getting Rogue stuff, is when you want to do that. So that's the next thing I did is I put in an order. I got a yoke, an Ohio barbell, and I think one other, maybe a belt or something. Uh, to round it out, I would I would strongly recommend getting a yoke instead of a squat rack.
Just because of the
Uh,
versatility.
yeah, because you can use it as a squat rack, as your bench rack. You can use it as a sled to do sled drag, sled pushes. You can use it as a yoke. You have it for a bar if you're going to do sandbag work or anything like that. It just is more useful than a squat rack, and I don't. I still have my squat rack or my squat stands for if I'm just doing like jerks. I don't like the feet sticking out. If I'm gonna end up dropping the bar in there, it can get a little bit questionable
Right.
on where that lands. But
Yeah. So when I started, I just moved into a new place, and it, part of like my moving budget was putting in a garage gym because like coming from Wichita and moving to Topeka, like I wasn't. I did like a little quick search of like what gyms there were, and like there are a bunch of commercial gyms that I feel like I outgrew at the time,
mhm,
and now they actually have a very affordable gym. I think it's like I don't know, $10 a month or something like that. It's not a Planet Fitness, but it's super cheap.
right,
But they didn't have that when I moved here. Because I'd have a hard time justifying the cost of buying all the equipment with there's a $10 gym membership. Um,
right,
but I made looking ahead for the future. Like I made a good decision, but I didn't see a ton of opportunity for like gyms. There was Strength Guild here that is no longer anymore, but it was like a hardcore like powerlifting strongman gym, and but I didn't. But because they have like no website and it's really like it's a really low key thing, um, I didn't know about it. So I factored in all these like it, this budget to move, and I ended up with a Rogue squat stand um, that they don't make anymore. It wasn't like their. I don't think it was their Echo squat stand. It was some other weird one. Um,
mm,
that has just like normal like hole placement all the way down, and you can't convert it to like a yoke or anything. And a Rogue Echo bar, which is actually a pretty good barbell. Um, when I got it's not a bearing barbell, which for most people, I guess, I guess most gyms use like bearing bars, where like the collars like spin really good and freely. The bushing ones don't spin as well. But recently, I took that apart after having it for 6 years. I took it apart and cleaned it. They spin just as good as any bearing does. Like it's incredible. So like it wasn't the most expensive barbell out there that I got, but it was like really high value. The Echo Bar, which I imagine they still make because why would they get rid of such a an amazing little tool?
mhm,
And that started with like two bumper plates, two sets of bumpers, and a 25, a two tens, and a 5 pound plate. Because I think that's what gets covers everything. Like
right,
you'll everything will be adjusted by like 5 pounds or whatever, right? Like this the smallest amount, and that's what I started with, and then I grew out of that real quick. I was like, well, we got to buy
right,
more bumpers like the next month, more bumpers, and I was like, well, now bumpers are expensive because they don't because the ones I was buying from Rogue they don't make them anymore. They made like a higher end one, so now it's like $20
mm,
more per bumper. And so like, well, let's just go with like steel plates, so they can just move up to steel plates. But that was really it. It was just a barbell squat stand and just like the minimal amount of weight that I could get away with,
you know,
and that was
and
pretty good.
Yeah. Shortly after I moved into the house and started building out the garage gym, a local gym closed and had an auction. And it was a like 3-story facility, massive gym. I think it was in an old church or an old school, so they had a ton of space. But for whatever reason, the auction house decided that they were going to auction off all the weights last. So by the time they got to it, it was empty. Like everyone left. It took like 5 hours to get to that point, going through this gym, selling off like the airdynes and the rowers and like yoga mats and fans and like just everything before I got there. So I got 3 sets of 45s, set of 25s, like 4 sets of 10s, 4 sets of 5s, and 4 sets of 2.5s, an airdyne, and a fan for like $240.
Killer deal.
Yeah, yeah, can't beat that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, then
The deals are out there.
yeah, just gotta be patient. You gotta watch for them. Yes, and then after that, it was adding chains are fun to have, and then you don't have to worry about anchoring them as you do with bands. But I would recommend getting a set of bands, and I've had it's been a mixed bag. I got a cheap set of bands, and they all broke relatively quickly. And I reordered them, and then I like, all right, I'll replace them with nicer ones as needed. And then they lasted for like 3 years, and they're just now starting to break again, um,
Yeah.
which is always fun because it's been like 50-50 getting tagged when they snap and not, depending on where they're
See,
set up.
I don't use a lot of bands. So I'm always worried that like when they do snap, it's like when I'm going to be like under like a genuinely heavy load and it's just going to like throw me. It's
Right.
never happened, but like that's like my
Now,
biggest fear when dealing with those.
my biggest fear, I use them mostly for uh, accessory stuff, like tricep pushdowns, face pulls,
Oh
leg
yeah.
extensions, like that sort of stuff. My biggest fear is it's gonna snap when I'm doing face pulls.
See, I've never thought about that, but that's really all I use my bands for these days is just face pulls.
Yeah.
but
Which
I
the the way they rub on the pins, because you can use the squat, you can use the yoke. They've got holes in the runners, so you can put a pin in and you can wrap bands. You just have to make sure you have it weighted down enough if you're putting heavy band tension in.
mhm.
And the way they rub on the pins and everything when I get them in there, I think that's what stresses them more. I think they're more likely to break doing that. But the other day I was doing the banded like, marches where you put in one foot, can go around your waist and down on your other foot with motions that no one can see, and then you just march in place. And I think it broke 3 bands trying to do those. Just like for whatever reason that day, like none of them were having it.
I had this optometrist growing up. He was an optometrist and like family friend, and he would be appalled right now that like we use bands for anything and like let them go anywhere near our face. I seen this guy spaz on us using like bungee cords to like strap something down. He's like, "Be careful!" He's like covering his eyes, and we're just out here doing face pulls like it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
But what do you think? Like, okay, so like getting so like that's kind of what we had like getting started. What's something like what's kind of like the bare minimum for someone to like kind of get into a home gym? Like, what do you think that looks like?
Uh, it depends. I think it depends a lot on what your goals are. I'm assuming most people listening are throwing and doing strength training, so I think you can't really get away from an Olympic barbell, some form of squat stand, and an appropriate amount for you of plate weight.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, I would go even I don't know because I've talked a lot of people into getting home gyms over the years, and some people are fine like buying like barbells and plates and stuff like that. And other people are like, well, I don't know if I want to use it because I already have this gym membership or whatever. So like I always tell people like get dumbbells, um, like a loadable dumbbells, the
yeah.
like the cheap like Walmart like Academy Sports ones, the 1 inch ones, because
Mm,
they're dirt cheap and they work really well for just being dumbbells. So like you could have like a
yeah.
space in your garage that like this is my little dumbbell area. So like if you're on like a training program, let's say you're not even like training for sport. I mean, most people who are listening to this are training for the Highland Games at least. But if you're like you're just like just trying to be healthy individual and like you can't make it out to the gym this day or whatever, but you still got 15 minutes to spare in between whatever, you have dumbbells there that you can do all kinds of nonsense with. But I mean,
And
but if you are doing a sport, you can a barbell with 225 pounds of weight, and however you can make that happen, um, without a squat stand, I think is like the bare minimum because you can build jerk blocks relatively cheaply, and you can squat out of jerk blocks. You can use them for like Olympic lifts. Um, and most people are pretty handy with wood, so like it's not like a far stretch to like screw boards together.
right, yeah.
And you can jump on jerk blocks. So I said
Right, yeah.
blocks,
Bloxus. That's the
blocks.
technical term. Bloxus.
That's what I got. I got jerk blocks. I can't afford it. Okay.
Off brand.
Yeah.
And actually, a single, you can get a lot of work done with just a single 45-pound kettlebell.
Yeah. If you know how to do kettlebell stuff, because I don't.
There's a, it's like how many kettlebell snatches you can do in 5 minutes without putting it down.
Are kettlebell snatches even snatches, or are they just like vegan brownies? Is that like a is it because that's what I feel like it is.
I mean, it's one motion it's not even from the ground though,
See, like,
but
okay,
it's
like
one,
I guess kettlebell snatches are more like a snatch than a dumbbell snatch because the catch portion of it's like a little bit more of a catch.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how to define, like, because we don't, we have the snatch, and there's the variations of the snatch, but is the snatch just ground to overhead in one motion? And then there's the lift that's the snatch that, so I'm not
See,
sure
that's
on that.
that's the vegan argument is that these are brownies. They're just made a little bit differently, but they are still brownies because they're chocolate and they're squares.
Yeah, yeah. If ground overhead in one motion is all we're, or I guess below the waist. No, well, yes. 'Cause hip snatch is still, I'm gonna argue, below the waist at the starting point.
Yeah, I mean, because like your
It's
waist
like
is like
overhead.
belly button to like ribs.
Yeah.
Like that's waste.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I don't. I've swung a dumbbell or a kettlebell like maybe twice in my life. Just
I was when I
the grips were too big. I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, it's a killer grip exercise is what it
Yeah.
is. Because it's like just trying to hang on to the thing for the full 5 minutes and getting 100 plus reps in that time frame is brutal.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll pass.
Yeah, it
But
was something
but if
when I was
if
in
this
between
is
programming.
yeah, but if this especially like if this is all you have like a kettlebell. That's something. That's not like it's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're just trying to do something, you can get I got Olympic loadable like the Walmart loadable dumbbells that were the Olympic weight size.
Okay.
And I was doing my warm up last week, and it was alternating dumbbell snatches,
Hmm.
um, uh, every minute on the minute, for 5 rounds. And I was like halfway through that last round, and I came up, and one half of it just went flying.
That's that's the scariest thing possible.
Yeah, it put a good gash in my platform, which I'm not happy about.
Yeah.
And then I obviously, and now I have one dumbbell, and so I need to order a new set of those. And I'm trying to decide if I want to spend a fortune and get the uh, new bell, like adjustable dumbbell that just has you turn the handle and it clicks the weight on. It goes up to 80 pounds and it looks like a normal dumbbell. They're really
Yeah.
cool. Or if
So
I could spend a seventh of that and just get a really nice set of new loadable dumbbells.
yeah. So this is my argument for especially for garage gym owners to get the screw end 1 inch like dumbbells because like unfortunately all your Olympic plates that you have your 45s and your 25s and stuff like that won't fit on there.
You're not
But
going to use your 45s on a dumbbell, though.
I mean, if you're going big rows, I guess big single arm rows.
Your range of motion's so short when you put a 45 on there.
Has you never loaded like 200 pounds up with like on a dumbbell and just kind of
Not on
just
the dumbbells I have.
dude, it's awesome. You feel strong. Your range of motion is ridiculous, but like you can huck some weight around. But my point is that like those 1 inch plates are everywhere. Every sporting goods store has them. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace for pennies, and like they're available, and you can have a whole range of dumbbells. But all you need is just two handles, and you can have any exercise you want at any weight you want. And
Almost any exercise you want.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, but like these screw-on ones, like they're all one piece. They're not going to fly off on you as long as you like tighten them
Right.
down.
Yeah.
Um, but don't get the ones with the rubber handles because those rubber handles are going to like fall apart, especially in a garage. It's just going to get all hot or cold, and then one of these days you're just going to like grab it and it's going to take a big chunk out of the middle of the rubber. So like they have like kind of knurled ones, which are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
those. Um, yeah, it's not as cool. It does not feel as cool as using like Olympic sized weights on there, but definitely gets the job done at a fraction of the price.
Right.
That's how you try to keep it at that 10 year to break even mark is you do things like that.
Right.
But like if you were to get like a dumbbell handle from Rogue, that they're going for like $110, which
Per
is
handle. Yeah.
for one, like not even a
Yeah.
pair, it's one, and I
That
don't
being
think it's
said,
worth it.
Titan, which I have some Rogue stuff, I have some Titan stuff, and the Titan stuff is still it's good quality. Rogue feels a little bit more finished, but the Titan stuff has still been good.
That's
They
because
have
it's
a
made in
s-
America.
The Titan ones you can get a pair for $90.
Yeah, that's not bad. I actually got lucky and found some at like Play It Against Sports that were they were like Olympic sized handles, and I think I paid like $5 for each of them. It's like $10
Yeah.
total. Perfect. I don't.
Yeah, you can get lucky at play. Like I think they mismark stuff or something. I got
Well, sometimes I don't think they know what they have. Sometimes,
yeah, because
and sometimes they think they have something that they really don't.
I got a dollar pound bumper plates there one time. Just the one time I got a pair of 45 bumper plates for $1 a pound
Yeah, I like Play It Against Sports for home gym equipment because
and shoes.
yeah, well, I don't like when I like when they have used equipment. I don't like when
Right.
they have like new stuff that they're like trying to get a deal on because it's never like good stuff. It's always like crappy. Um,
And not any cheaper than just going to like
right,
Shields or
exactly. And like at least like with like Shields or Academy or whatever, like it's a brand that I've recognized before. Like I get it. It's not
right.
some weird like Turkish brand, but
Yeah.
they at our Play It Against Sports, they had a some guy in town was like a big um, strongman guy and strongman powerlifter, and he had a massive home gym because when they opened this Play It Against Sports, like all the weights and like gym equipment was like his. It came out of like his garage, and I guess he died, and his wife sold it all off, as one does. But he had this squat rack in there. It was a old like Samson rack that like used to see like you can go back and like look at like old like muscle and fitness magazines, and like they're selling like Samson stuff like from like 80s early 90s, and I was like,
Right.
that is a freaking cool rack. And they wanted whatever Rogue is selling like their nice like monster light racks for. That's what they
Right.
wanted for this 30-year-old like 2,000 pound rack. And I was like, that ain't worth it, but it is very cool and I want it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and this thing was like 10 foot tall. It was crazy. The bars
Like I
on it were
don't
like, they were thick. I was like, this is the best thing ever, but not worth
don't have
anywhere
a
close to
spot
that.
for it,
Yeah.
but I want it. Yeah.
Yeah. I got room now for it. So like, I know they still have it. Like, I just go in
Right.
there and I should go make them an offer, like really low ball them, see if they bite.
All right. I can get this out of here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll like see like they use it to display other stuff. Like they have shirts hanging on the back of it. They have like four other barbells just like this like on the racks and on like the safety arms and stuff. I'm like,
Right.
oh, they're using this as a shelf. So maybe not.
Right.
But so that kind of like going back a little bit, like the bare minimums are just get a barbell and some weights, and
Yeah.
then like the rest will come.
Bands are very helpful. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Bands are
because you
very
get it
helpful and not expensive.
right.
And you could because one of the things is I don't even gonna call it a con necessarily, but one of the things with a home gym is especially when you're first getting started, you have to get very creative to get everything accomplished that you want to accomplish in your workout.
Yeah,
And
there
bands are hopeful for that.
there have been times like I don't know 6 7 years ago where I was I was writing my program for myself, and I'm like, man, like I'm just all I'm doing is just stuff with a barbell. Like I wish I had something else, something else to do that's not me holding on to the same barbell because it gets a little boring. You got to like find creative ways to be entertained out there.
Right.
Um, but did you say you've used like the Rogue bands?
No, I just ordered some off of Amazon, some cheap ones, and they're finally starting to wear out. I need to do a little bit more research on what, because there's true rubber bands that like the Rogue uses actual real rubber. A
Hmm.
lot of the cheaper ones on Amazon are a different synthetic thing. I
Yeah,
don't know which one holds up to the temperature swings and cold weather better. Because I definitely snap more in the winter. Like you
for
gotta
sure.
warm those things up before you get going.
Yeah,
I just run them through your hands, like give them little stretches, go around in a circle, get them ready to go. But so I don't know if like the more expensive bands will be better or not for that. Uh, and I could bring them inside and take them out as I need them, but I don't write my own programming, and I often don't look at my program for the day until I'm in the garage.
yeah. And I mean, even like Rogue bands are like super cheap. Like, I mean, you're not getting like a whole
Like,
set, a set of them for cheap, but like you can get like red bands for like $17 a pair,
right.
which isn't unreasonable. And I haven't broke one yet, and I've had mine for a while. I also don't use them a
Oh,
ton. I mean, it's again mostly face pulls and like just kind of warming up with like just pull aparts and like up rows and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, ton of work with bands. But I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just not set up to use them for like squats and like bench and stuff like that.
Because you
Because
don't have a yoke.
yeah, well, I mean the squat stand has um, pegs, um, or like holes for pegs. The downside is that I have to weight the back of it so it doesn't all just
Mm-hmm.
yank forward. Because the one time
Yep.
I tried to do with the safety squat bar on there in both the red bands, one on each side, and had a good amount of tension. I was like, this is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be just give me that little bit more. That's what I want. And I get out, I stand up with it, and the rack just yank, and I'm like, look at the safety squat bar on there because like I was able to let go of it and like put my hands out and catch the rack. But
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn, I should have just put like a couple 45s on the end of that, and it would have been just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's even with with the yoke, I can do like, the red bands, and I think the next step up it starts to get borderline on if it's gonna lift up the that edge of the yoke if there's not weight on it.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not that
and
hard to throw some weight on, and uh, I honestly just usually I'll take the 56 and a kettlebell and plop them on there because the width of the runners on the feet, so they don't like encroach on my lifting space.
yeah.
But it's good weight for the to weigh it down.
What kind of a bench do you have?
I have uh, the still the cheap bench that I got originally. I think it's a the Marcia or whatever brand that like Costco will carry.
Okay,
Which it's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
So
And then I got a weird branded adjustable bench a few years into it, and it's not as stable as I would like it to be, but it's stable enough that I'm not having to worry about it, right?
right. That see, like I was gonna say, like that's one of the things that I'm willing to like skimp on is like flat benches. I mean, as long as they're not
Yeah.
super high or super short, like it's gonna be fine. And if you can find a cheap one with three legs on it instead of four, that's even better because it's not going to wobble on you. Like like mine, I had like where like the upright meets like the base of it. I've had to like shim it up with like just random crap from my garage just so it stops wobbling. But if you have a three legged one, it doesn't matter because it's always going to be balanced.
I had
But I
I had
also wouldn't
incline
skimp
bench.
on. I also wouldn't skimp on an incline bench because that's scary. Like if you're like propped up and you got like
No,
225 over your face and it just drops, like that's
I
that's worse than getting a band to the face.
for sure. I had incline bench in my program before I had an incline bench. So I put like one or two 45-pound bumpers under one set of legs and then put a sheath bag on top to get my incline that way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Uh,
it technically worked. Don't do that.
yeah, I was working at a cabinet shop and I had them make me a couple plyo boxes, and one was like 12 inches, the other one was like 16 inches, and I've propped my bench up on that box and tried that out. It's sketchy because I'm always worried it's going to
Yeah.
slip off. And at one point, I even like just like a random scrap of 2x4, I just like screwed it down onto the egg so like it wouldn't just slide off the back.
Oh,
But
yeah.
even
No.
then, like incline on a flat bench that you've made to incline, I don't feel like it's doing it right. Like it doesn't
No.
feel worth it. It just feels like I'm just doing a flat bench. Just I don't know because I'm not. You don't have anything to sit on,
Right. Yeah. It's
and your
definitely
feet will
not
slip.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I went to, and there was a block with incline bench. Then the next week after I did that, I went to the climbing gym that I had a membership to, and they had a small lifting area, and I know that they had an adjustable bench there. So like, I'll just do that workout there, so I don't have to worry about just making up an incline bench. And they had just a cheap incline bench at the time, and it was like, how is this worse than what I was doing?
yeah. Looking like now, just recently, um, I've been thinking about getting a new bench. I don't want an adjustable one. I mean, sure, it'd be nice, but I think I want just like a I don't know what are they called, fat pads, Thompson fat
Right.
pads. That's what I want
Um,
because those look comfortable.
they are nice because shortly after that, the climbing gym got a new flat bench, and they got one of those
Yeah,
for some reason. I don't know why they decided to get a nice flat bench, but it's fine. It's good.
right.
Um, what's on your wish list right now?
Um, I mean, really, like just because it's been on my mind recently is just a new flat bench. Because I mean, mine's not worn out or anything. It just I've been having trouble like being comfortable on it. I always feel like one side is like hanging off more than the other, and like that hasn't been an issue before. Maybe because I'm getting
Do you
fatter.
wrap
I don't know.
do you wrap bands on your bench?
No, I could
I think it helps.
like just like a normal like a normal band or like a
Yeah, take your Rogue Red band and go kind of under the middle and then run it so that it's running the length of the pad
yeah.
and then hook it on the other feet so you don't slide around when you're getting your shoulders dug in for bench.
I might try that because it's just been annoying recently. I just benched like a couple hours ago, so I was really thinking about it. I don't know. I also mm, I want a like a like a glute ham. I don't know what are they called, GHDs, glute ham developers.
Have you
Uh,
seen the freak athlete uh does glute ham? You can do the Nordic curls on it. And I think you can also use it as like a Roman chair and it collapses down.
yes, I've seen that. The one I was thinking of getting was I think Rogue makes one, but it's a GHD and a reverse hyper, and I really want the reverse hyper
Yeah.
because then I can kind of cut out some of my good mornings because I don't know, I'm getting tired of them doing good
Have you
mornings.
done? Have you tried heel downs?
No, I don't even know what that is.
So just take the biggest band you have, essentially, should be fine. Um, and if you have, and you just loop it around pull-up bar or whatever highest anchor point you have, and then you just lay down on your bench with your hips kind of just over the edge, hook your feet in it, and just keep your legs straight. Bring the bands down. And it's like a reverse hyper,
Yeah,
upside down reverse hyper. It's not a good morning. Does something similar
yeah,
if you want something
yeah.
new.
'Cause I was just talking on one of the training videos I put out that I add good mornings into every training block, and I think everyone else should too because they're good. But 6 years and I don't know 120 training blocks, like getting tired of them. I want to switch it up. But like being a home gym is like you're kind of stuck with what you have until you
Right.
get something different.
Yeah. I wonder
But
if you could rig up like a back attack sort of thing.
what's a back attack? You're saying all kinds of stuff I don't know about.
It's a machine that you could do back extensions on, and you could just do back extensions, I guess. So you don't need a machine for it, but they're
Yeah,
uncomfortable. You have to like, I don't know,
yeah. I also want to
with
get
with
like a single leg like squat roller for like your foot because my bench is too tall to do
mm,
single leg
yeah.
squats um, or split squats. I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe they're the same thing, but
I mean, the
what the
split squat, you'd have both feet on the ground.
yeah. So then it'd be single leg squat. Yeah, like one of those like they're on like a little platform,
Yeah.
and I no one really makes a good one because everyone always makes them attached to like a squat rack or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
and I don't have a squat rack. Um, and then Garage Strength, they sell one that is actually it's pretty legit. Like it's very sturdy and cool, but like they're kind of a lot for like a simple piece of gym
For what it
equipment.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking about it like how much load is that thing actually under, and can it be made of wood? Because I'm not a metal guy. Like I can't like I don't know how to weld. I could probably figure it out, but like the whole world of working with metals unfamiliar. But working with wood, I'm like I could build that shit out of two by fours if I really like wanted to. And so
Right.
like I drew one up that I was like I could probably build this and like it would probably like be legit. Um, I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But that's on my wish list. But that's very much like in my control.
Right.
There it is. The Rogue. I just looked it up. The Rogue Donkey. It's got a GHD and a reverse hyper on it. How much do you think that thing goes for?
Let's see. From how I'm gonna say it's $950.
I wish. It's like it's $2,000.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I
Again, like that's the problem with like being a home gym is that like is the space and the money like worth what this machine is going to give me, or can I make do with something else? And it always comes down to just like I can make do.
right. Yeah. Because that's the things I've got on my wish list right now. Um, the pads to drop the weights onto silencer pads
Oh yeah.
because I my garage gym is on the north side of the garage. There's a two garage, and then there's a workshop area. Then there's the backyard. Then there's my house kitchen. Then there's a living room. And my wife can hear me drop the weights in the living room. It's like
Yeah.
maybe I should get something to tone that down a little bit.
See, though, those are one of those things that like I think to myself, like I can make that. Like I can build that thing because it's foam and vinyl. You can make it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's true, but they're
Do
like
you do you know how to sew?
$150. I
Oh,
know
okay.
people who know how to sew. Like $150 from Titan, and like getting the good foam is probably $80. I don't know.
Well, so okay. Well, yeah. One, learn how to sew. It's really good. Uh,
I
and
can do some hand stitching, but
you got to
it's
run a
true.
machine. Yeah. But like, yeah, like $150 from Titan, like that's not unreasonable for what they are. Like that makes sense.
Right,
But they're made with like weird Chinese foam that's going to off gas. So put it on the sun for a while.
right.
But yeah, those that's probably like I should probably get some of those.
Yeah, because my watch every so often, if I have like drop it the bar from overhead that often, because I don't do clean and jerks together that often, and that's the
Mm.
only time I'm gonna drop it from overhead. Because if I'm doing jerks, I'm gonna want to catch it so I don't have to unload the barbell or do heavy cleans just to reset.
You're not dropping snatches.
Yeah, I am, but it's not the same weight.
Yeah, fair enough. It is
Like my
different.
snatches, it's different, and then like I am just using bumpers for snatches, and I have to dip into metal plates for my clean and jerks, so it's a little bit louder. But I get a decimal warning on my watch if I'm dropping a lot of clean and jerks. Uh,
That's technology trying to make you soft. You got to reject that.
right.
Don't let big technology control you. I
But
will
then
listen to
I
my loud
also
music.
I need to make some jerk blocks still. I haven't done that, and they'd just be nice to have.
They're very nice to have. I
I
I need to make mine taller because when I made them, I was like, this is gonna be perfect. And just getting under them is just it's like 3 inches too short and it's uncomfortable.
yeah,
So I
that's
need to
fair.
like add some more.
Yeah, I was gonna build mine pretty similar to I think Rogue and Titan both have the same. I'm pretty sure all the wooden jerk blocks you buy are gonna have the same design, but I can't justify spending $1,000 on a set of jerk blocks, so it's
Uh,
something I have to make.
the Rogue jerk blocks are very cool because they're built with like 1 inch plywood, which is you just don't see very often. So I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's some heavy duty plywood.
Yeah, and it's good and it's good quality plywood. I've played around with them, um, but I just built mine with 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x12s, and but I mean that's what most people at home like build them with is just two by material.
Right.
But I didn't have a table saw when I built them, and I really wish I did because I would have made them a lot more like tighter tolerances where I would cut the bowl nose off of like the 2x4, so like it's just a nice hard edge. I like
Hmm.
that. I don't like when two bowl noses are like sitting next to each other. It looks I don't know, it looks crummy to me.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, dirt blocks are definitely good
And
to
then
have.
yeah, and then as I believe I mentioned before, I need a new dumbbell set now.
Dude, I'm
So
just kind of terrified of like dropping a bunch of weight on my face from my loadable dumbbells.
Yeah, I mean,
I am
so
fortunate though because right now I'm not using the Olympic ones. I'm just using the 1 inch screw on ones
mm,
because I had one pair, like one set of collars for the longest time, and I was like, this is all I need. And then I got those, and I was like, oh, I need to get more collars so I can actually
mhm.
use both of them at the same time. Day one, I dropped a front squat on them. Like I had them like right underneath the weights, and I dropped like 300 pounds, just poof, and just disintegrated them. And I was like, well, those are done now. Great. And that was like 2 years ago, and I haven't replaced them since.
Yeah, I really want to put magnets on my clips. They've started making magnetized ones.
Yeah,
So if you're using steel plates or the competition bumpers that have the steel insert, it snaps onto the weight so it keeps it snug before you tighten it down.
yeah,
And then when you're not using it, you can just slap it onto your rack or your squat stand or wherever, and they're just there. And I just have some plastic cheap ones that work pretty well that have like little indent spots. I could put some rare earth magnets, just pop some super glue in there,
yeah.
and then
Home
feel
gym it up.
fancy. Right.
Yeah, when I built these new platforms, I built in like bumper plate storage on either side of the squat rack, and I don't have enough bumper plates to fill out a 2x2 section. So like there's like a good, I don't know, foot a foot by 2 foot like trough that's perfect for chalk and all my other crap that I can just dump in there, so I don't drop weights on my
Oh,
stuff anymore. So
oh,
that's big
smart.
brain
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I didn't use them so like frequently, I would toss like the one set of 5 pound plates I have and the one set of 2.5s I have. I just toss those in there, but they're always just out.
Yeah, I thought that when I got all that weight, I'm like, I have way too many fives and two and a halves. And if I'm doing stuff with both dumbbells, I will use up all of those weights so quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I uh, I never thought I needed more like tens, fives, and 2.5s, just because you don't like for like a barbell you don't need that you don't need a bunch of them.
Right. You need the one for each side.
But I think you need because if you don't have 35s, which I don't think anyone should have 35s. There's a PSA to everyone out there. If you're using 35-pound plates, you're wrong. It's 25s and 10s. That's how it goes. But I can't remember the like how that exactly breaks down. But I think it's 25, a 10, or two tens, a five, and a 2.5. I think that covers like all your loadable weights.
Right. To replace the 45.
But
Yeah.
yeah, what else? You want to talk about heating and cooling stuff you got to deal with?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, cooling really isn't that bad. You can get a fan, point it directly at yourself, and you survive. Now that being said, I always work out first thing in the morning, so it is a little bit cooler. Um, so the heat's really never bothered me. Um, no one's in there to tell me what to do, so I just go topless a lot. Uh,
Dude, so that's what I was about to say. That is like summertime in the garage gym. Like I never feel like so jacked and so strong because like I'm just like I'm glistening, shirt's never on. It's just me in shorts, dude, and like I feel fucking like a monster. And then wintertime comes, like I got a scarf on and I'm buttoned up, just shivering in between sets, hanging
yeah,
around the heater like a hobo.
yeah, like three pants on.
Yeah. But summertime in the
Yes,
garage gym is very chill. My
yeah.
biggest
Then
beef with the fan is just I don't like the noise of the fan. I don't want to hear the whirl. I don't like it.
Get one of those fancy Dyson ones.
Are those
Just get
good?
like the hole. I have no idea.
I just assume they're not good because people gassed up their their vacuums for so long, and they come to find out their vacuums aren't that good.
I don't really
That's what I
like
was.
their air blade hand dryers either.
No, you're seeing that meme. It's like this guy's like, these urinals suck. All I do is just blow piss everywhere. It's a Dyson hand
Yeah. Yeah.
dude. I can't even imagine
Yeah.
doing that. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That reminds me. I was at the Hoover Dam one time and spitting over the side of the dam, trying to watch it go down. It'll go down about like 20 feet and then shoot right back up, and you gotta like dodge it. So like I'm like 10 years old, just like hawking loogies off the Hoover Dam, dodging them. It's like a giant
The
Dyson
family right
thing. I don't know.
behind you was.
Oh yeah, it's just a bunch of Chinese tourists that are just
Uh,
in awe of what I'm doing. You know?
yeah, so then heating, I just have. So my garage, I have the workshop area kind of next to the garage stalls, and that has a built-in gas heater, but it's like a different section of the garage. It takes so long for the heat to filter into the garage that I don't really use it, and then I just have a little space heater that I'll set up next to the platform uh, when I'm working, or like when I'm doing a warm up, I'll just put it next to the barbell to get that warmed up a little bit. Because like I don't mind getting bundled. It's just holding that cold steel that sucks. Like
Yeah.
when I first started switching over to doing the Olympic lifting, it was in January or February. It's cold,
Mm.
and my coach is like, "You gotta get away from the straps and start hook gripping." And I'm like, I know that needs to happen.
Yeah, you would say
I
that.
just I just don't want to right now. It's bad enough when the barbell's warm, when it's 15 degrees, crushing my thumbs.
Yeah. Oh man. And then like your hands are just white from all the blood that has just left it. That is
Right.
yeah. I used to take my I mean I'm getting back into that right now because it's just starting to get cold enough where it makes sense to bring the barbell inside. But like I would bring it inside every single night and just prop it up by my back door. But it is sketchy trying to get that out of the house and not break anything because while
Right.
you're watching one end trying to get it through the door, the sliding glass door, not break anything, there's 7 more feet of it just swinging around behind you.
Right. Well, and
But
like
like,
everyone else is asleep, but I'd be trying to get it out into the garage. That's
yeah,
just make it worse.
but like it was just kind of like a nightly thing. It's like bring in the barbells, bring in the weights and the shot, so I don't have to like when I'm going for a throws practice, I don't
Right.
have those because that'll ruin a throws practice so fast. Is like having to hold a like frozen shot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd bring the barbells inside, and then if I forget to, which or I didn't think it was going to be cold enough, and I don't look at the weather. I don't care. Like like my life is easy enough that like being inconvenienced by weather like isn't that big of a deal.
Right.
So I won't pay attention to the weather, and it actually does get too cold. I will prop up on those plyo boxes that I um, have. I will put the electric heater like right up against the metal, and on the other side, I will have the propane heater like blowing on it as well, and so let that go for about 30 minutes, and then come out, and it's actually good to lift on.
Sure.
But like, I'm always scared that I'm going to burn down the garage with the propane heater because
I mean, there is that. Yeah.
yeah, because every time if I have it on, every time I go out there, like it clearly smells like I'm burning propane in here. Which, so like there's actually like only a few days in the year that I will lift with the propane heater on. I will use it to heat up the area before I go out there. So I'll go out there real quick and just turn it on. And when it gets really cold, that actually is a real problem to get that heater going. I'm sitting in like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is okay. This is why I'm afraid I'm going to burn down the garage because they have a little red button, right? You got to hold that red button down to like ignite it or whatever. But if you let go of the red button, it turns off because it's not warmed up enough. So I rigged a zip tie to that thing and kept it closed because I can't be out here for half an hour holding this thing, holding this damn button just for it to let go and like turn off. So I zip tie that thing, and it's probably not supposed to be doing that, but that's what I'm doing with it.
Right.
And then I come out and I go out there to lift, and it smells like propane, and I turn it off. But if it's really cold, I'll leave it on and lift with the propane fumes, which I don't know that's probably not good, but
Yeah, I don't
like
think that's good for you.
it gives me a ton of motivation to get in and out of there and not just stand there and
That's
watch
fair.
TV like I like to do.
Right.
Like if I'm in between exercises, I'll just sit there and stare at the TV, watch my stories. That's a good rest, and I can go on to the next thing. But I'm not worried about the electric heater burning the house down. Um,
Right.
but because that electric heater like just barely gets warm enough. If it's like 0 or like negative temperatures outside, um, I'm literally putting that propane heater like in my hoodie, my big hoodie. I'm just stuffing it in there and just having it on my belly because it's just not doing enough. And I sit there on the
Yeah.
bench just for like in between sets, like okay, now it's time to pull this fucking block of heater out from under me. But that's garage gym life. It's a tough
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. It's it's not so bad.
I mean, for me, I think even dealing with like the temperature and the weather and the humidity, because the humidity is going to destroy your equipment as it does. Um, my garage now, the new garage, is it's actually very humid in there. I went out there one day. I don't know why this was. Maybe it's because like it's been warm and then got cold and it's getting warm again. I'm not sure how condensation works, but my barbell was wet. All my plates were wet.
Oh.
The concrete in the floor was damp, like it soaked up moisture and was like releasing it. And I was like, this is not like all my stuff's gonna get rusted. This is not good. My TV's gonna short out because all the moisture in there. I don't know.
Just send everything out, get it Cerakoted. Your plates, your bar, like everything. Just
I can't imagine Cerakoting my barbell now because like the knurling's so worn down on it because like I've
oh
used it a
yeah.
bunch. Yeah, it's just gonna be a
Yeah.
smooth barbell at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It does beat dealing with all that stuff. It does beat going to a commercial gym and having to wait for equipment.
Well,
I
I mean, even if you don't have to wait for equipment, you're probably saving 30 minutes every workout, not having to drive to and from the gym.
right. Yeah, there. I used to get off work at like 3:30 every single day, and I'd go home, grab my gym stuff, and then go to the gym. And if anything like slowed me down, like if I had to stay late for work or whatever, or um, I had to like wait for my wife to get home to like so she can take the kids or whatever. Um, and I missed my window of going to the gym. And when I got there, like there's people in the squat rack because it's now a whole different group of people that don't show up at 4 o'clock. Because like I was the 4 o'clock crew, and we all did our things. Like it was like we all had like our like where we're going next, and like no one was like in each other's way. No one was trying to work in on sets. Everyone just knew what we were doing. It was very cool. But if I missed that
Yeah,
window,
yeah.
I'm having to stand there like wait for a squat rack because like I'm not starting with anything else. I'm going to start squatting. That's what today called for. And so I'll just be like looking through machines like, are they almost done? Are they done? And I look like a total crazy person, but this is what I want to do is hit this squat machine first. But you don't have to deal with that when you're at home. It is
It's true.
very nice.
And you can do your
Unless you have
curls
like a
in the
whole
squat rack
family.
if you want.
Oh yeah, you do curls and squat rack. You can just sit there and do shrugs all day, and no one can tell you otherwise. Because it's my life.
No,
But unless like I mean, how many people actually have this? But a whole house load of people that use the same home gym. That's never happened. It's always like one person. I mean, it's
but then you get the more people in the household using it, the more space you can
you
uh
can yeah you can take
accession to the
yeah
gym. Yeah. It's not just me, it's everybody's using this. We need this more space and we need the second squat rack over here. And
yeah. I when I moved into this new place, I built two platforms because I have the space now. Because I hated doing like Olympic lifts with the squat rack behind me. I always felt
yeah,
too cramped, even though I
yeah,
don't really go anywhere. Like I'm not, I'm never really chasing it or anything. Like I'm always like right where I start, but I like having a full platform. So I built two of them and I connected them together. And now I have like what I feel like is a pretty reasonable amount of space that I'm really excited about.
yeah.
And I think
What
if I ever outgrow this, I have to get like my own building, like because
right. That's like, we're kind of looking at moving in the nearish future. And like one of the struggles we have is replacing the garage.
yeah,
So because two cell garage has a workshop, and then behind the carport part is storage. So I
mm-hmm.
think like first floor of the house is a smaller footprint than our garage.
It's a good
And
garage.
that's just it's a very good garage.
This one that I have now is quite large. Is three? It's a three car garage. It's a pretty big three car. I feel like, but the problem with it is it's uninsulated and it's a like a steel building. So every time I drop
Oh yeah.
weights, it sounds like I'm just banging on the walls. But so it is quite. That's why I was like oh those pads will actually be pretty useful for me. So I don't have to hear the
Yeah.
racket that I'm making. I already make
Right.
enough
Yeah.
noise. I'm very vocal in the gym, and I don't need to hear myself and then hear all the shaking of the walls.
Right. Yeah. And then
When
I actually would really like to have a stretch of turf to like sled drags on. That'd just be
yes,
nice. I don't have anywhere to put it where I am now.
I have a see. I look into this because I have a perfect spot for a little turf stretch. Um, it just pretty much run almost the whole length of the garage
Yeah.
because I have like a row of cabinets on one end. It'll it'll be a good little run. That I wouldn't do like sled pulls on. I'd just mostly do it for um, like jumps, like bounds and stuff like that. So I'm not landing on concrete because doing bounds and landing on concrete just destroys your knees. So I just wanted something a little softer. Then I was like, the first thing I was like, well, what's the problem with turf? So I Googled like cons of having turf. And then everyone, it just says microplastic, microplastic, microplastic. And I was like, I don't like microplastic. So I'm going to avoid it because the whole thing is
That's
just
fair.
plastic and you're just dragging your feet all over it, just kicking it up. Next thing you know, you have plastic in your testicles or whatever the
I mean,
issue is these days.
it's too late for everyone on that already. There's nothing to be done about it.
That's true.
It's just there.
We live in a plastic world. How convenient. But until I also thought of like having a section of turf for like doing stretches and stuff on, which I'm like, it doesn't feel great to like rub my face on plastic.
That's true. No, the stretching just has to happen before you go out. You do it in the house where it's nice and comfortable, and then you go out.
See, you would say it's nice and comfortable. I wouldn't because my dog would just be like right here, and I'm like, get away from me, please. I'm not your friend. I'm doing a thing. Go away. And she doesn't understand that.
Also
So she,
true.
anytime I'm on the floor, she's like, oh shit, here he is. He's here. He's down here. So she has to come and bother me. So like I tried doing like ROMWAD and those kind of like athletic stretching programs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just was uncomfortable because the dog was always there. She just, then I'd yell at her, like, go away, you're bothering me. And then I'm out of the zone where I can't be comfortable anymore because I just yelled at my dog. So
Right.
she's just trying to be nice, and I don't want anything to do with it. Well, my lower back hurts, and you're making it worse.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
suppose the actual like puzzle piece mats would be the worst thing for that. Just to stretch on.
Yeah, but I think they're ugly.
Yeah.
I have an aesthetic I'm trying to keep going out there.
I don't know what to tell you. Just like
Right.
grow
Well,
actual grass.
that see, I thought about that, but I'm like, that'll bring in so much more moisture into the garage. Can't have that. But do you know how nice it would be to have like a nice, thick, lush, like patch of grass that you can like roll around on? That'd be
It would be
nice.
nice until it gets like frosted in the winter and gets dead and scratchy.
Yeah, you literally have to treat it like you're a groundskeeper for a golf course. You gotta tend to it.
First 45 minutes of my workout is making sure this patch of grass is well kept.
I always thought it'd be really cool is to like people have like house plants and stuff like that. Like I always thought about like it'd be nice to have like a little square patch of grass in like a little shallow pot, and like I'd cut it with scissors. I always thought that'd be really fun
Okay.
as a house plant.
Just some grass.
Yeah, just I don't know. And I thought about this is like one of those thoughts that like pre-internet that like when you're taking a crap and you're just like thinking about stuff, like it's like how cool
Yeah.
would that be to have like your own like little patch of grass? That's a little insight into me.
All right.
Thank God I'm
Sounds.
chronically online now where I don't have these weird thoughts.
Yeah, no, I don't think patch of grass is one of the at the top of the list for plants for me, but I guess.
You're just not being imaginative enough.
I guess that must be it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you, it's not me.
I'm the problem here.
I'm normal, okay? But also, I don't think grass can grow indoors very well, so that's also another issue.
You just have to get a grow lamp or have it by a window.
I want it on my desk where I could just look at it while I'm doing stuff.
You know what? You need like a 2 foot by 2 foot patch that you can just put your bare feet on the floor at your desk. Just have your feet in grass.
Yeah. I don't know
I you
what kind of grass I had grown up in California, but like that's the kind of grass that I want. It's like almost like a mat where like it doesn't
oh
like
yeah.
I don't know what it's called. And it's all like the dirt underneath was always like soft. It was like never hard. Mostly because we all had like sprinkler systems. But like
Right.
when
Yeah.
I was a kid, I used to go march around my front yard barefoot and just like heel strike little divots in my grass. It was if it's very like I don't know, it's like satisfying.
Sure.
But then like the next day the sprinklers come on and like it swells it all back up. Yeah, that's a lot of grass talk.
That is a surprising amount of grass talk for
I
home
mean,
gym episode.
yeah, these are the things you get on the 9 Point Day podcast is grass talk. People were
This is not the
surprised that
first time we've talked about grass. So,
yeah, people are surprised that like of the stuff we bring up. Like we brought up like I don't know, it was like Gilmore Girls a couple episodes ago. I'm
yeah,
like, well, how can you not?
naturally.
Like, yeah, 'tis the season. But we're coming out of we're coming out of a Gilmore Girls fall, and we're going into I don't know what would winter be?
What I mean is it just I is there's gonna be
Seasonal depression
many
winter.
well There's going to be so many Hallmark movies played in my house for the next month.
Oh, you're in a Hallmark house?
Yeah.
I'm not. My wife keeps those on her phone. She has been watching a bunch of Christmas movies the last couple days, and I'm trying to tell her we're burning through them pretty quick. You got to slow down because if we burn through all the
There's a
good ones,
lot.
if you burn through all the good ones, then you get to the Hallmark ones that you got to watch. And
Yeah, but there's the one where it's like, I don't even think there's twins. They just look similar and then they switch places. One's a baker and one's royalty. Then I think a third one shows up who's a cousin, who's evil and tries to overthrow the monarchy.
oh boy,
There's multiple of these movies, and they're
I can't
Christmas
wait.
themed.
It's just yeah. The big city writer moves to the small town so she can write a story on a farm, and the next thing you know, she's in love with the farm and the ranch hand who actually owns the ranch, and it's a tale as old as time.
And then the script is already there. You just have to do a find replace farm with bakery and
Yep. Yeah. Well, so this
farm
is
and
like
stationery store.
yeah, like the Hallmark movies are a lot more they're a lot more light than the Lifetime movies. The Lifetime
Yeah.
movies get pretty tragic. Well, a lot of murders and rapes with these women, and it's just upsetting.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably it. I
Yeah,
think
I
we kind of
think
we squashed this one.
I think we covered that one. Yeah.
So I guess to sum everything up, get a home gym if you don't already have one. Convince your wife or your husband to let you get a home gym because it is the best thing ever. Oh, I guess also too, and we didn't mention this as like one of the pros is that if you have kids, you try to set a good example for them to not be lazy, be hardworking and stuff like that. Pursue passions because at some point in your life, you stop being a kid and you start to like live in the real world and you stop pursuing passions. Some people forever, some people it's just a short period of time. But if you grow up in a house with a home gym, your kids see you and the parents like using it and sweating and working hard and like chasing a dream, I guess, and that is wildly helpful for like rearing your children. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind when you're trying to sell this idea to your significant other. It's good for everyone. It's good for the family.
And it's good for the economy.
Yeah, if you buy Rogue, I guess to Titan and the other ones to some extent. But
Yeah.
all right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, so far, God bless.